Hi, everybody. Welcome to another EOAI Zoom. Today, we are talking to Scott, and I'm really excited to have him on because when I saw the chatter in the WhatsApp group about what Scott was talking about, I knew that we needed to have a Zoom or else this would be a lot of one-on-ones for him, even though he did volunteer that. And Scott really practices what he preaches and has an interesting story about really turning things around in his business by buckling down and putting all the marketing things that he knows how to do into action. I don't know if anybody else clicked the link and watched his story, but I think it's pretty compelling, and maybe you could share a little bit about that. So people get a feel for how practical this information is and how effective it is and where you come from.
Yeah, you bet. Happy to.
Scott Empringham from EOOC, welcome, and I'll give it to you.
Awesome. Well, thank you. And I wanted to say huge congrats and thank you to Nicole for organizing all this. Is a lot of hard work, and I really appreciate you guys being here and you guys and gals being here. What I decided to do is, do you all have a laptop or a second screen handy that you could jump on ChatGPT 4 or 3 or whatever you've got? And if I can get a thumbs up from anybody who's got a second screen that they could do that from, excellent, or a thumbs up just with emoji, because that's going to be really helpful. My goal for you is actually, we're going to create a marketing plan for your business today, real time. You're going to create a marketing plan, a marketing calendar, and all the content, or the vast majority of the content that we're going to create. So it's going to be really interactive. And I've done. Sorry, I think I got muted. But those of you who got the thumbs up, give me the thumbs up. You all are going to walk away with a marketing plan. And we'll show you actually how to take that and put it into Google Slides and how to use the AI for that. Who here is in marketing really fast with a thumbs up, or with on the marketing or comm side, or does a lot of presentations? All right, cool. All right, then let's get going. We've got 1 hour. I'm going to try to get it done in 30 or 45 minutes and leave plenty of time for questions. And I'm going to start from the beginning. All right. First, a very, very short backstory. Just a few short years ago, I found myself in Las Vegas, Nevada. Life was extraordinarily good. My agency had just won a couple of social media awards, best use of Facebook, best use of technology. We swept all the awards. I was the CEO of one of the fastest growing social media agencies in its category of its type. We just passed 10 million in sales. I was convinced that we were going to 15 or 20 million. We were racking up clients like Ford, Chrysler, GM. Life was really, really good. And in fact, just a week prior to that, I had the unique opportunity to look over to one of my workshops, and there's Grant Cardone, one of my heroes, sitting in the front row. And I'm teaching this guy who is like mind-blowing to me. And he's taking notes on how we're talking about going to market with social media. As an EOer, you'll appreciate this. I wish success and all that was such a straight line. I could have never imagined what was waiting for me Monday when I got back in the office. I had some of the worst professional news I've ever had in my life. 90% of my revenue was gone. 2 of my largest clients got fired from their clients, which meant 90% of my revenue just evaporated. I called an emergency meeting with my forum just a week after that, thinking, maybe there's a way around this. Maybe there's a way through this. As an EO or an entrepreneur, we're always thinking there's got to be a way to figure this thing out. At the end of a 4-hour emergency forum meeting, the answer was I couldn't outrun it. It was time to shut everything down. I was, to say I was, gutted like a fish, or to say I was destroyed or shattered as a business person is an understatement. It was just a mind-blowing thing that was occurring. I was in disbelief. And just a few short weeks later there I am in the background. My daughter and son are there. I've got a 10-year-old and a 13-year-old now. At the time, they were whatever it was, 7 and 9. There's my son, 6 years old, shutting down the office. And another EOer, good friend of mine, an attorney, basically tells me you can leave with the phone. He was fire sailing all my stuff to protect me from bankruptcy. And he said, all you can do is leave with the phone. After 20 years of building a freaking company and thinking that we were going to the moon, just a few short weeks later, I'm bust. And what was worse is I had not only had no clients, no business, no money, I'd taken out a line of credit for $1 million, drew down $500,000 to pay off a bunch of debt, thinking we were continuing to grow. So now I was walking out with $500,000 in debt. It was the worst experience ever. My daughter, overhearing that conversation with my attorney where he says, look, you can't leave with anything. She looks at me and she says, Daddy, could I take my crayons and my toys? And I was brokenhearted. And I told her, yeah, you're taking the toys, you're taking the crayons. Screw Jeff, screw, all that stuff. It's not an asset of the business. You're gonna take the toys. For the next 30 days, I basically was just drowning. I felt like I was in a downward spiral. I felt very hopeless, as you might imagine. And I really felt mobilized until one day I decided to take a run. And on that run, I don't know if you've ever done that. You're doing something physical, you're doing something to maybe move around. I kind of had an idea. And the idea was this. And the idea was, if I could do for myself what I'd done for my customers, and that is we specialize in sales events, getting customers with social media and digital marketing in about 60 to 90 days. If I could do for myself what I did for them, maybe I could turn this thing around. I went home, I wrote down a plan, and I decided, here's a plan I'm going to use, an 8-step marketing plan. And this becomes a little bit important as we go forward with AI. We're going to show you how to create a much better marketing plan. But after 20 years, I said, here's the plan I'm going to use. Here's the social media tools I'm going to use. And here's the accountability. EOers all know about accountability. I decided to do something that scared the crap out of me when I first did it, but this was the game changer that made the biggest game changer. I actually told the truth. I took a picture, and this picture is on my Instagram, my LinkedIn, my Facebook. If you go down a few years ago, there I am, my new office. I had this amazing, beautiful office, 40 employees. That was my new office. That's my dad, his intern. And I was squished between the filing cabinets of soy sauce and a filing cabinet. When my dad needed something, I had to duck. Talk about humbling, I guess is the best word. It was a very humbling moment. That was my new office. I told everybody, look, this is where I am. This is where I'm going to go. And this is how I'm going to get there. And I decided to publish my marketing plan and show the journey online. And I was inviting people to watch the process. I'd heard marketing gimmicks like, if you lost everything, what would you do? This was a real life moment for me. I am super proud to say that 88 days later, I walked into the bank. She told me please not to take this picture. I paid off 100% of the debt. That day I walked away clear from the bank, paid off the debt. She asked me not to take the picture. I did, basically doing free workshops, doing an online course and a social media coaching program for virtual assistants, marketing managers, front desk folks, marketing, EOers and non-EOers. And I rebuilt my agency. And I tell you that only to share this. And we're going to bridge into the AI part. When November came around, I had a unique opportunity. I had none of the overhead that I had before. I had none of the legacy costs I had before. So I went all in on AI in that marketing space. And so I was buying and trying everything I possibly could. I was doing weekly workshops. I was getting feedbacks from students on what prompts and what frameworks worked and what didn't, what were really practically useful and what wasn't. And I went all in on ChatGPT and Jasper and Midjourney, DALL-E, Video.ai, and many, many others. And in the next 45 minutes, that's what we're going to do. So here's what we're not going to do, just to be super, super clear, is it's not going to be about theory. It's not going to be about the future. I haven't got a clue on where this is all going pretty much a month from now or a quarter from now, let alone a year from now. But this is going to be about getting results now. So my goal is really to give you prompts and frameworks that work right now. So you may not be in the situation that I was in, desperately sort of trying to get out of a 90-day hole, but maybe you just are starting with AI, or maybe you've been working with AI and you just want to take it up to the next level. Today is we're going to talk about 3 things in the next 30 minutes. Where to start, what to say, and how to get it all done faster than you ever dreamt possible. My goal is, I'm going to be talking sort of a quick pace. My goal is you're going to walk away with the marketing plan, the content, the calendar, know exactly how to get it all done, if not done right now in the workshop. All right, so hopefully that sounds good. We're ready to get cracking. All right, first, let's talk about where to start. I think this is the most important thing. Many of you already heard this. The prompt is everything. That's why it's called prompt engineering, and that's why so many folks are getting paid so much money just to become prompt engineers. I want to introduce one distinction, and then we're going to go to work on creating a marketing plan. And I'm going to share a prompt with you in the chat that you can take this. There's prompts and there's frameworks. And here's what I mean. Everybody's heard the phrase, hey, you want to be clear and specific with your prompts, right? Everybody's talked about that. If you watch Instagram or TikTok or anything like that, people are talking about it all the time. Let's take a practical application. Midjourney is an image generation tool that creates art based on text prompts. So if I was to say, create a photo of a monkey in a suit, bam, it gives me a photo of a monkey in a suit. And that's a real prompt, and that's a real result, just like that, right? But here's what's really, really interesting. What if I want something even better? There's something called prompts and frameworks. I can say, create a photo of create a monkey in a suit, but I can also add the framework of make it photo hyper realistic, 50 millimeter portrait photography, et cetera, et cetera. Look at the difference between those two monkeys in a suit. The difference in the distinction that I want to make at the very beginning. And then I'm going to give you, at the end of this presentation, I'm going to give you 25 unique prompts and frameworks that you could use absolutely free. You could use those things and you can start using them in your marketing to just blow you away. But here's the distinction. A prompt is what anybody could do. Anybody could say, I want a monkey in a suit. But you do, I think, need some level of expertise with photography to add the other detail that's in the framework. Would you agree with that? If you're not a photographer, you probably don't know to add the distinction between 50 millimeter photography, cinematic lighting, et cetera, et cetera. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to give you frameworks, marketing frameworks that copywriters are using all the time that you may not be aware of. And you don't have to, you could just add them to the recipe, to the prompts, and get some of the results. And I'll show you that in a second. But that's a really important distinction. Let me share with you 3 prompts and then 1 prompt and framework that I'd like to ask you to use. I'm going to copy and paste it and send it, and then we're going to go through it. And then I'd like a couple of people to share some of the results. I will say this caveat: ChatGPT-4 gives radically better results than 3.5 and 3. So I would highly suggest leveling up, do the $20 per month for ChatGPT-4 if you don't already have it. That's the only caveat I'll mention. Let me share with you a few prompts that I've used in my workshops with the thousands of folks that have come through all of our workshops that we're doing, the students and the courses. There's one prompt that we've shared with people that everybody seems to love. And again, these will all be available to you at the end. I'm just going to share the most relevant ones that we're going to be working on. The prompt engineer prompt, really wonderful prompt with a thumbs up and the emojis. Anybody heard of this prompt? A lot of people call it the be all and end all of prompts, or like the #1 prompt that you need to know. Okay, so it shows like what a bubble I am in my little social media circle. This is, I hear about this all the time, and I share this with everybody. I bought into it. I'm like, oh God, I can't wait to use this. And what it basically does, you're priming ChatGPT to become your prompt engineer and help ChatGPT to come up with the ideal prompt for you. So I bought into this, and it really is wonderful. The only challenge I have is it takes time and it takes energy. And I would share this with my students who are running 2 or 3 dental practices, and they would all say the same thing. It's technically, I'm sure, great, but practically useless when I'm so busy. So I'm going to pass that one. It didn't pass the test as being immediately applicable for my students. It said, give me the prompt that's going to give me a marketing plan right now that I can use and then build content from. So then I found the expert mode prompt. You might have heard about this one. This one's floating around. There's a lot of YouTube videos about this. I see some nodding heads. Andrea, I want you to act as an expert in sales training. It could be legal, contract law. In this case, it would be marketing. And you put it into marketing expert mode, and it immediately becomes like this robot that's a marketing genius, and it gathers all the information it needs, and it can start to respond to you. Again, technically a really cool prompt, but it can be practically useless if you need immediate results. Marketing prompt. This one I came a little bit closer, and then I'm going to share with you the exact prompt. This one I really came closer to, where it's like if you guys and gals remember Mad Libs, I may be too old, but I remember there's a thing called Mad Libs where you'd fill in the blanks. That's what I tried to design for my students, that they could literally just copy and paste like the stuff that they knew about their business and leave the other stuff to ChatGPT. This is pretty close, but the one we finally came up with is this one. And I want to copy this into, it's just my name. I call it the marketing campaign prompt. Super, super fancy. I'm going to give it to you. And then what I'd like to ask you to do, I'm going to tell you a use case. But what I'd like to ask you to do, who are interested, to use it. I'm going to show you exactly how to fill it in. And there's one part, the problems, that is really important to fill in. I'm going to take a second. If you have the prompt, what you're going to do is I want you to act as an expert in marketing. Simple enough. And we're going to take like 2 to 3 minutes here. Then I'm going to tell you a story, and then I'm going to come back to this prompt. So don't worry. Don't hit generate just yet, but start filling it out with marketing, your business name, your name, your web URL, your product and service, your phone number, your target audience. When it says demographic or interest, it could be a word or a phrase or a sentence. And remember, this is your maiden voyage with this, so don't overthink it. Just do the best you can with it. We're going to come back to problems. Skip problems for now. We currently use whatever marketing challenge, whatever marketing channels you currently use. You'll fill that out. What are your specific goals? And I'll tell you the story, and that'll make a little bit more sense. And that's it. And that's it. So let me give you a use case. So we're going to come back to this. Don't hit generate just yet, if you would. So I came up with this prompt, and I'm sharing this in one of my workshops. And a young lady who is taking our course and in our workshop, she's gotten great results. And she said, you know something, I'm curious. I'm curious whether ChatGPT 4 or chat would give us the same results that you gave us, Scott, when COVID was happening. And you're the 20-year marketing guy. Let me see if it would give me the same advice you gave me or better. I said, yeah, let's do it. A little bit about her store. She has a clothing store. She has 2 clothing stores. She has customers and women in Laguna Beach, and that's how she filled it out, her demographic. The problems. This is key. Imagine your target audience, your ideal customer, if they were to wake up in the morning and they didn't get any sleep and they were struggling with something as it relates potentially to your product or service, and they were talking to their best friend, what would they say their problems are? I asked her the same question, and I'm Juan, if I can ask you, and then John, if I can ask you. Those are the 2 folks I see in my screen. I'll ask you in a second to share those problems, because it's really important you nail this problem. It makes a big difference. Her problems were, as it relates, during COVID, she said, I think they're really frustrated right now. Moms in Laguna Beach, they're stuck at home during COVID. They hate that. They're bored on Facebook all day. They miss seeing their friends, and they miss shopping. So when I heard this as a marketer, I'm thinking, well, this is a great opportunity. If they're stuck at home during COVID, they're bored on Facebook all day, they miss seeing their friends, they miss shopping. Let's give them an opportunity to do that by creating a virtual fashion show. So my recommendation before ChatGPT was to do a virtual fashion show, boost it like 50 or 75 bucks, and get all their partners and vendors to share it. And she did, and it crushed it. She was able to keep employees. She grew not only locally, regionally, but internationally. And she thrived during COVID when a lot of our other folks were shut down. She was doing sales online. Better still, when she used this prompt and she added those problems, what problem she was trying to solve, it primed ChatGPT in a way that said, this is the problem they need solved. And it kicked out, it's very difficult to see, but it kicked out SWOT analysis that recognized one of the opportunities was to take her business and put it online and go virtual with a fashion show, live Facebook events. But then it did something that I didn't think about. It added even more. It said, hey, you could also do newsletters. You could partner with other folks. You could create these blogs. It actually went on and on and on with better stuff. So what I'd like to do in a moment, I'd like to ask you to hit generate. But if we can, just for fun, John, what problems did you come up with, if it's okay? I don't know how to take you off mute. Does the administrator know how?
Are you talking to me, John
Yes,
Johan?
sir. Yes, sir.
I'm brand new to this, so some of my problems are supply chain problems.
Forgive me, I'm sorry. Your ideal customer, if they were to wake up in the morning and they said to their friend, man, what business are you in?
I'm in the timber business. I export building products all over the world.
Wonderful, wonderful. And your ideal customer is who? A word or a phrase?
Large electrical companies.
Excellent.
Electrical contractors for wooden poles.
Excellent. Title of that person that you sell to?
It would be probably it would be the importing buyer for.
Perfect. Importing buyer wakes up in
Those
the
areas.
morning. Importing buyer wakes up in the morning. He calls his other buddy who's an importing buyer. He goes, man, I cannot get any sleep. I'm just frustrated by what? What's the number one problem? He says to the guy over the phone that if you could hear that problem, you'd go, man, that's my ideal customer.
Somebody who's waiting 6 to 7 months to get supply, and we can get it in 2 to 3 months.
Perfect. So I'm sick and tired of waiting for supply. There's got to be a better way. That's
Correct.
something that you could say that's his problem. Super simple. And you could probably refine that, but that's one problem. That's a great example. So work on that, come up with like 2 or 3 problems like that, continue that dialogue in your head. Then his buddy says to him, well, what else is wrong? Do that like 2 or 3 times and you got it. Juan, how about you? Who's your ideal customer and what problem do you solve? And then the last one, is it Lynn? Lynn. Juan, who's your ideal customer? What problem does he or she have?
I have an experiential marketing company. I do photographic experiences for events. My ideal customers are event marketing companies, ad agencies. I work with a lot of Fortune 500 marketing departments.
Excellent. And the title of your person you sell to?
I'm sorry?
And the title of the person you sell to, like their business title?
Marketing manager, event manager.
Marketing manager. Perfect. Marketing manager wakes up in the morning. He or she couldn't sleep. She or she calls their best friend, who's also a marketing manager, and says, oh my gosh, I had the worst night of sleep. I couldn't sleep at all because what's the problem she's struggling with? That if you overheard her or him, you would say, that's my ideal customer.
Well, not sure if she's going to bring something that's going to engage people, that's going to work at the event, that's going to drive traffic to the booth.
Perfect. If I don't have an event that engages people, I'm in big trouble. Or my last event did not engage people and I can't do that again. That's a great area to play in. Come up with 3 problems, do the best you can, but that's literally the best framework I could give you when you imagine you're hearing your ideal customer talk to somebody over the phone and explain their 3 biggest problems. That goes in there and you'll be amazed at what comes up. You'll be amazed at what comes up. Last one, Lynn.
Okay, so my target audience is marketing managers, CEOs, operations managers who are struggling with lack of time, lack of profit, or overwhelmed with too much to-dos. Excellent.
And as it relates to the product or service you have, so your marketing manager wakes up in the morning and she might say, I don't have enough time. I have too much to do, and adds a little bit of detail on that. What might else she say? To do what?
To focus on higher value work to grow the business.
Excellent. Yeah. I'm so overloaded with detail. I can't focus on strategy. Is that close?
Yes.
Okay. Think in terms of those problems, add a couple problems, and if you would, hit generate.
Okay.
You're ready to go. If you filled out the rest, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you while you're all hitting generate. It might take a few moments, but what you're going to do is you're going to hit generate and it's going to develop something similar to this SWOT analysis. And then for the Marcom people in here, and this is what Nicole, what I posted in the chat that I want to get to. I used to travel around the country, and I still do, but I do it a lot less now. I used to travel around the country and present to auto dealer groups. I would make PowerPoint after PowerPoint after PowerPoint after PowerPoint. I would spend hours making these slides. But what I want to do is I want to show you something that is really cool that I just found. If you make a lot of PowerPoints, you might like this. There's a thing called magic slides. And so when you get your marketing plan, let me see if I can find one here. I think I just did one for a test here. Oh, here we go. So this is the one I grabbed. So let's just say that I wanted to take this and convert this into a PowerPoint. You can copy here. And there's a little thing called Magic Slides. And you download Magic Slides, and it's an extension for Google Slides. So why is that important? Well, I am notoriously picky for how I like my slides done, but I know they take a long time. If I could compress that into, say, like 100 seconds, I'd be a happy guy. So you open Google Slides. After adding the extension, you simply go here to extensions. You open Magic Slides. And I bought the one, I think it was like $100 for the year or something. I upgraded the premium. You could do the free one. And you could say marketing plan, topic, marketing plan for unique boutique, and reference text. And I'm going to copy and paste the entire marketing plan, the output of my ChatGPT marketing plan. By the way, I can also look at the color and the fonts, and I can change the fonts to some other color that I want. And I don't know, let's go with that one. And then I'm going to also go back and I'm going to add a few more slides. And there's other things you can do. There's instructions, replace existing slides, images for each slide. But I just want to get to the gist of it. I added a title, I added the output of ChatGPT. And now that I've got my extension, I hit generate. And it tells me in about 97 seconds, it creates a marketing plan for me. That's virtually presentation ready with the adjustment of just a few things. I'll come back to it in a second. You'll see it. It is amazing. And so what we're doing now is for client presentations, a lot of times we'll develop something like this, import it with a couple of small tweaks. It's presentation ready. So we'll come back to that. While we're doing that, would anybody like to share, would either Juan or John or Lynn, would you like to share the results of your marketing plan?
Sure. Okay. How do I do this? Do I copy it on the chat?
Or you could just share. Did it resonate with you? Were the pros? What were the cons?
I didn't really. I was listening to you.
Oh, sorry.
Well, it was the objectives is to increase the number of quality leads by 30%. Target
Yes.
marketing just repeating, telling me to do Google AdWords, email marketing, Facebook, which is something that I do. Okay, explore new marketing channels.
Yep.
LinkedIn, Instagram, content marketing, influencer marketing, and budget allocation. Allocate the marketing.
I got it. So here's what we're going to do. It's given me all the basic content. So the next half, we're going to actually generate content. I'm going to show you how to do your emails, your ads, your blogs remember the monkeys, the two monkeys? We're going to show you how to do prompts and frameworks to get incredible ads, incredible content for your campaign. I heard ads and some blogs and some content in there. So we'll do that. John, how about yourself? Give me a high level overview of your output.
See, I wish I wasn't the example. I'm brand new to AI and I don't have another screen up.
That's okay.
I got into this 30 minutes ago.
Okay, perfect. All right, then we'll go to Lynn, and then but we'll come back to you, John.
I'm going to share the one that I actually like that we haven't thought about, which is focusing on doing a loyalty programs or discounts for repeat businesses. So we don't have that. We currently don't have a free trial to include number of hours or tasks to provide, a taster. So but the rest were kind of things we're already doing. And then I just asked it to give me more examples of client retention and upsells, because that's the area that we're looking into.
I love that. I love that. That's great. That's a great example of how it not only gives you the stuff you sort of expect, but then it also gives you ideas that you hadn't considered, that as soon as you see them, you go, oh my gosh, I should be doing that.
Yeah.
And then you can prompt it. I love that. All right. So now what I want to do, let me go back to, here we go. Marketing plan for unique boutique. Oh, I should have done more slides. So marketing plan for unique boutique, situation analysis, targeted messaging. Oh, it pulls all the images from Pexels, a free image sharing website, online presence enhancement, content marketing, email marketing, social media engagement, local partnerships and collaborations. You can see there's some issues with the sort of the length of titles, but essentially that's our marketing plan. And then I can actually feed it more information, and I can incorporate target analysis in between here, and I can add more, say target analysis from ChatGPT, and drop it in. I thought this was really helpful in different clients that we had. We started putting things in a presentation mode and dropping these in, and just making sure that making these presentation ready much faster than we normally would, with really cool images that seem to pay off on the different ideas. It reads the content and pulls up images that are relevant to your content. Is that helpful? Was that helpful to everybody? Okay. Let me go back to this now. Now, you've got some marketing plans. And now for the next, say, 15, 20 minutes, Let's see what we could do to build these out. And I'm going to give you some prompts and frameworks that'll help you do that. This is the prompt. You've got the marketing prompt. We talked about magic slides. So the cool thing I like about the expert marketing prompt is when you prime it with your information, your website information, your ideal customer, the problems that you solve, you're actually priming it to create all the content you need faster than you ever imagined. You can create a marketing calendar, a marketing plan, emails, blog, video script. So with basic prompts, you can create a marketing calendar or a marketing calendar, and you can actually ask it to say, create a marketing calendar for the next 90 days in table format, and it'll kick it out in table format. It's really amazing. And you can copy and paste it in seconds, faster than ever I could, faster than any other marketing other person could. That's a fairly simple prompt, but I want to give you some other prompts I think will be really cool. Let's create some email campaigns. Let's create some social media posts, and let's create a blog for your business right now. So you leave with all these things, and then you'll have 25 extra prompts to build out any other stuff you want, ads, etc. Let's take a look at an email prompt. This is a basic prompt we started with, and I'm actually going to take it out of here, and I'm going to just share it here. Hold on here. All right. Before I share this, if you remember the monkey, there is the expertise in the framework. In working with copywriters throughout, the last 20 years, I would hear things like, oh, I'm going to use the soap opera series framework on that, or I'm going to use the pain, agitate, relief framework on that. I'm going to use this framework. And you'd hear that stuff. And copywriters knew what that meant. But I didn't always know what that meant until I started, or the soap opera series. So what I started doing is I started grabbing these frameworks, adding it to the prompt, and got a much different result. I'll give you just a quick example, but I want to give you this prompt. And try this on your next 4-touch email campaign. So I'd like to suggest, I'm leading you a little bit, but I'd like to encourage you. Oh, let me go to everyone. Oh, wait a second. Did I only share that last thing with, did I share it with everyone, the prompt?
We all got it.
Okay, good. Sorry. I mean, so I just shared the soap opera series. So what you're basically saying is, and you could change this, by the way, but using the soap opera series framework, create a 4-touch email sequence. Now for your business, email series consistent with the tactics and strategies of the marketing plan above, which will now, Lynn, already include a loyalty program. You can also include it, or so specific to the loyalty program if you wanted, that sets the stage, introduces drama, backstory, a wall, epiphany, the one thing, hidden benefits, urgency, and call to action. To get with a call to action too, all you need to do is put in what you want them to do. Watch a video on your website, sign up for your loyalty program, learn more about fill out your contact form, visit your website, anything basic you want it to do. And while you're filling that out and hitting generate, I'll show you what we did with Unique Boutique. So she used that and she said, all right, so I've got 2 stores. I'm gonna do it for 1 store, and I'm gonna do this live virtual fashion show. And when she does it, you can see the email, the first email, it's beautiful. It uses the soap opera series where it sets the stage. Dear customer friend, are you ready for fashion adventure that'll transform your wardrobe and elevate your style? Unique Boutique, blah, 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 blah. And then email number 2 actually introduces drama. Imagine hiring a copywriter from your local whatever, the fee they would charge you to actually be aware of all these different frameworks. I don't know about you, but in the marketing space, I've been in the marketing space a long time. And a lot of times I'd work with a copywriter, and going through round of revision was just mind numbing. This makes it instant, and you can add different frameworks to it. This particular email campaign was better than anything that local boutique owner would ever create on her own. Guaranteed, hands down. When she saw it, she was just over the moon. The 3rd email is the epiphany and the one thing and the hidden benefits. And it promises, hey, this event is going to be amazing. And then there's urgency and call to action. 30 days prior to her live virtual Facebook event, she ends up pushing this out. It's a great campaign. I would encourage you to try it for your own business, see what you get. And again, I'm going to be giving you 25 different frameworks that you can just copy and paste. The soap opera series, the pain, agitate, relief framework, all these different frameworks, try them and see what works best for you. And you could kind of like Legos, you could put them together and get completely different results. And again, ChatGPT 4 is very, very different. Does anybody want to share any results that they got or things that they learned, surprised to see?
I just want to share that I got the emails and I'm pretty impressed. I could use them.
Excuse me. Yeah. Yeah. They're impressed because.
Because they're good.
Yeah. 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 And they're available in 8 seconds.
Yes.
As opposed to 1 month. Anybody in the marketing space has had this uncomfortable process of briefing a creative team, and then 30 days later, what you get back is not what you want. And then you got to start the whole process again or write it yourself. Anybody else? Anybody else? Anybody that we haven't talked to? Richard or Amanda or Corey? Anybody else? Anything surprising? And if not, that's okay. We can keep moving.
We've just come on for the last half hour, just finished another meeting, so missed the beginning bit.
Okay. Okay. No worries. No worries. All right. Then make sure if you missed the beginning, make sure you grab the expert marketing framework, expert marketing prompt at the very beginning of the chat. Use that and go into ChatGPT and start there, and you can catch up really fast. See if you can fill that out and catch up. Okay. Next one is this. You've now got some emails. Now, let's tackle social media posts. A lot of people spend a lot of time on social media posts for very good reason. But let's see if there's another way or a better way to do that. A basic prompt would be, you're a marketing expert, being consistent with the tactics and strategies of the marketing plan above. Write me X number of posts between 100 and 200 words. I would actually just say 200 words. We've modified this. That's how fast things are changing. Already we're seeing different results. So now we're changing it just in 4 days. 200 words for my business, encouraging my targeted audience to do what? Do you want them to try something, buy something, product or service? Include emojis and hashtags, include links to my website. Since you've already given it all the information it needs, if you use this framework, it will grab it. Oh, the prompt engineer one. Yes. Somebody asked me for the prompt engineer one. At the end, I'm going to give you a code, like a QR code. Oops, I think I just sent it to one person. Sorry. And I'll give you the prompt engineer code. I'll give you that, or the prompt engineer prompt, and 25 other ones. But grab this one and try this one. All you have to fill out is 2 things: the number of posts you want, and just say 4, maybe for now, or 2, or whatever it is. Include the number, the number of words you want. I said 100 to 200. And the audience, what you're encouraging them to do. Visit your website, try your loyalty program, schedule a complimentary conference call, whatever it is you want them to do. And what I'm using here is the pain, agitate, relief framework. And at the end, I'm going to give you, like I said, 25 different frameworks. You'll be able to put different frameworks in like Lego pieces and radically change the output to fit your unique business and your unique target audience. In this one, it's pain, agitate, relief, which is identifying the pain that your ideal customer has, and you're agitating a little bit. So we did this with Unique Boutique, and it came out really good. Same kind of thing. You're a marketing expert. We're using the pain, agitate, relief framework. And this is the basic one, just the basic prompt. Attention fashion lovers, Unique Boutique is hosting an unmissable Facebook Live event, et cetera, et cetera. Imagine you're locked up during COVID and we just used the pain, agitate, relief. Feeling bored and uninspired while stuck at home? We hear you, ladies. It's time to refresh your wardrobe and bring back the excitement. So when she saw this, she was so stoked. And it just made a big difference. If you can identify a pain, it writes copy just as a professional copywriter would, addressing that pain, maybe adding a little bit of salt in those wounds and making it a little bit worse, and then showing how buying, trying your product or service can help relieve some of that pain. And it went on, and she created like 4 or 5 different posts. Oh yeah, and it does the emojis too. I love the emoji. And that usually, you don't remember that you'd right mouse click, you'd look for the right emoji. Like, that's not the right emoji. That's you know, it comes up with all the emojis too, which is a big time saver. Before we move on, we do have a couple of seconds. Anybody have any feedback on the posts?
I love them.
Looking good? Excellent. Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right, good. We still have a lot to go. So I'm going to crank. Are you guys all getting some good value here? Is this making sense?
Yes.
All right. Awesome. Awesome. The next one is one of my favorites. It's a blog prompt. I love this blog prompt because I happened to stumble across the BuzzFeed style blog, and it could be converted to a great video script. It could be created. It could be converted to a number of social media posts. If you remember BuzzFeed, let me go to the right here. Here is that prompt. You're a marketing expert. You don't have to worry. It's going to put it in BuzzFeed style. You're going to include your business name, your phone number, a web address, or it already grabbed it. Actually, it's already got it. You've already got your problems your target audience has. So all you're going to do is reference, do you want it? And even if you just leave it just like this, it'll still work, which is also incredible. But if you remember BuzzFeed is really interesting because BuzzFeed will lock into mistakes your target audience makes, secrets that your target audience needs to know, or just things you need to know, or mistakes you need to avoid. So if you were in front of 50,000 of your ideal customers and you can randomly choose it, do you want the blog to be written mistakes they need to avoid so they could get X, or secrets they need to know so they could get X? That's the one thing you're going to need to put in and then see what happens. So for the sake of argument, just choose mistakes or secrets. Mistakes your audience needs to know so they can get something, so they can get the benefit, so they can sleep better at night, get better marketing services, get their lumber needs met, meet their timber needs met. Or the secrets buying managers need to know so they can get, they can eliminate bottlenecks in their supply chain. They can get better timber. They can get more reliable timber. But that's the idea. And I'll show you how that worked with Unique Boutique. Hers was really simple. She said they had the same issues, stuck at home, missing their friends, and topics they should cover, mistakes, secrets, things that every mom needed to know, or a woman in Laguna Beach needed to know in order to accomplish. And I forgot, this is when she actually left it up to ChatGPT to come up with it. So ChatGPT said, okay, we're going to write a BuzzFeed style blog, and it came up with it. And she didn't even fill it in. I forgot about that. But you absolutely can fill it in to get a more dialed in approach. And the result is fantastic. She ended up getting a BuzzFeed style blog that was headlined 10 fashion secrets every stay-at-home fashionista needs to know for their ultimate retail therapy experience. Fantastic blog that she could also turn into a video series. She could actually turn that into 10 little mini video vignettes that she could shoot and then release on her social media channels. She could actually repurpose that blog. We've got clients doing that all the time. Wonderful way to repurpose content. So in the little bit of time we've had, gosh, I don't want to try to cram too much in here, but I do want to cram 2 other things in here and we can take questions. Again, at the end, I'll give you the 25 prompts. So you've now seen how you can write the emails, social media posts, and blogs with those prompts and frameworks. And you could go on and again, mix and match some of those frameworks. This is a really cool prompt or a hack, I'll say, how to get it all done faster than you ever dreamed possible. This is one of my favorite ones. As we started rolling this out to the folks in our social media course and in our coaching programs, what we found out was content is no longer the bottleneck. ChatGPT can get you massive amounts of content, and you can go into kind of editing mode and edit it now, but content is no longer the bottleneck. The next bottleneck is actually distribution. How do you create all this content, or actually how do you distribute this content in a way that also doesn't take you away from running your business? Because you obviously have other things you need to focus on. There's a recipe that if you're familiar with a guy named Gary Vaynerchuk, we modeled this recipe and you'll recognize it from what Gary Vaynerchuk does. If you don't know Gary, no problem. Here's something called the content pyramid, and here's how it works. This one hack will save you a massive amount of time. And the concept is based on this upside down sort of pyramid. Documenting pillar content. Who here does a blog or a podcast or has ever appeared on a blog or a podcast? It could be even a workshop like this. Give me a thumbs up in the in the emoji. Okay, great. Okay, just a couple people. That's okay. Who here could take that BuzzFeed article and read a script and convert that to a video script, and then put an iPhone in front of you and read that? Everybody here could. And you could then create a video where you're adding value to an audience, where you could identify the problems they're struggling with and create a BuzzFeed style blog, and then actually upload that and say, now convert that blog to a video script, a 60-second or a 2-minute video script. Anybody in here could do that with an iPhone. When you've done that, what you used to do 6 months ago is you'd call one of your editors and you repurpose all that content and you distribute it across LinkedIn, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, etc. And you could use all that. Really great way to do that. That was a great bread and butter sort of service that we offered our clients. But meet video.ai. Video.ai is content distribution at scale. You can load one podcast, one video recording like this into video.ai, and it kicks out 60 pieces of content. The AI software converts your audio to text. It comes up with headlines for you, text descriptions. It slices all your videos down. It resizes them into 9:16s for TikToks or Reels, Facebook or Instagram, 1-to-1s, and long form YouTubes with really good headlines too. Yes, Andrea, who said really good headlines too. The headlines are fantastic. Sometimes they're a little bit goofy, they're off, but 50, 60, 70% of the time, they're really good headlines. And at least they're thought starters for you where you can add headlines. And it makes it much simpler now to distribute down to, say, a virtual assistant. Your virtual assistant doesn't have to make some of those critical decisions that he or she used to make. And now you can have a virtual assistant that can really, really help you. And he or she has got the content, the headlines and the descriptions. And then it's really easy to change the backgrounds and the formatting. And there's all kinds of different things that you could do in there as well. But Video AI is a great tool to use. And there's free trials. So check it out, sign up for the free trial, and then cancel it after 6 or 8 days or 10 days if you want to. Authority framework. Last thing, and then we can take some questions here. Some people will say, okay, I do want to create videos, but I don't necessarily know what types of content to create. If you are into professional services, if you have B2B marketing, if you're a coach, or do you want to build your personal brand, this is really, really key. And there's the secret to it is this. Each audience is different. And this is like an hour workshop, but I'm just giving you the real basics. If you think of your audience, your entire audience that you're marketing to, whether you're in timber, whether you're in marketing services or anything else, there's people that are hot. They know you, they trust you, they need your product or service now, and they know all about it. They just need to know what the pricing is and those decisions they'll make. There's the warm, they're familiar with you. They know of you and some other solutions, and they're kind of more upper funnel. And then there's cold. They aren't even looking for solutions right now, and they don't know you, but they're cold. They have problems that you could solve for them. The authority framework works like this. Many people make the same mistake. They say, I'm going to advertise my products or service on Facebook or LinkedIn or Instagram or YouTube. I'm going to drive them to my website and hope they buy. But what they're missing out on is all the people who have problems that aren't even aware of certain solutions, and they aren't aware of your product or service. So if you make some content that's consistent with the problems they're wrestling with and talk to those issues, you can connect with them, you can engage with them, you can empathize with them and offer them value. If you can create a second set of content around the solutions, hey, we know you're probably looking at this type of timber supplier, or this type of timber supplier. Maybe the answer is do nothing. There's a lot of different solutions out here, but here's the 3 questions you need to ask before you choose your timber solution provider or your marketing service provider. Here's 3 questions. We did this in the automotive space, and we used it for Ford in a way that had never been done before. We started asking questions before you buy your next SUV. Ask these 6 questions. It'll help you decide which SUV is right for you. And we actually compared Ford to Chevy to the other ones, other solutions, and we gathered a much bigger audience than just advertising to the people who love Ford. And here's the Ford, and here's the Ford price, which is product advertising. Product advertising is just advertising. We do timber, and here's our features and benefits, and here's our pricing, and this is why you should buy from us. You need all 3: problem ads, solution ads, and product ads. And then just for kicks, we also suggest one other type of content, which is objection. Everybody has that last minute objection before they buy something. They may say, you know something, before I buy this, I just thought of something. I have this belief, I have this objection. We like to create content that addresses any objections or problems they may have ahead of time. So that when you create content all through ChatGPT, you can do this all through ChatGPT, you're now ready to address all areas of the funnel. So that's really kind of a fast masterclass on authority framework. But you've seen guys like Gary Vee. My best example is Gary Vee does this. You'll hear him, if you know who Gary Vaynerchuk is, he'll talk about empathy. And then he'll talk about some features of Facebook and Instagram, and Reels are now trending. And so he's talking about solutions. Of course, he owns VaynerMedia. And then he'll talk about his new tennis shoe line or his new wine line, product advertising. And he'll even talk about objections. He uses all four beautifully. Okay, with that, I'm going to wrap with this and then we'll take questions. I want to make sure everybody gets, we covered a lot in 45 minutes or 54 minutes. Where to start, what to say, how did it all get done? I want to just do this. If you go to this QR code or AI Training Academy, and I'll put this in the chat, go to the free resources section and you can grab 25 frameworks for free. And it's in this section right up here, free resources. And if you go to this, you can grab 25 frameworks there, the bonus prompt, and all the different prompts that we talked about. That is really it. If you'd like more information, I can give you more information on our software. I am gifting everybody a 10-day free trial. If you go there and you use this, this code, EO Relentless, it's a chat that we were just at in another chapter. And it grants everybody a 10-day free trial for a software that essentially sits on top of ChatGPT. You answer 6 questions about your business, and it kicks out an entire marketing campaign for you. It kicks out a marketing plan, marketing calendar, 4-touch email campaign, 12 ads, 1 video script, 1 blog, and 12 social media posts in about 2 minutes, so that you can spend more time on your marketing and less time becoming a prompt engineer. So that's all on there. Again, that is EO Relentless. I'll paste that here. There's that, and EO Relentless. 4 minutes to go. Questions? Any questions?
Thank you for that, Scott. We got a lot of comments asking for a recording because it was a lot of information and overwhelming for some, and we will be sending out a recording with notes. Scott has okayed us to do that, so we'll be sending it out to you because I think there was a lot of information there that people will probably want to review when you're actually coming to implement it.
Yes. And by the way, somebody asked me about EO Relentless. No, that was just a typo. So you want to do EO Relentless. That's bad proofreading on my part. Sorry about that. Somebody noticed it was like, hey, it says like there's a missing an L or an R or something. So you want EO Relentless. And it's a 10-day trial. Sign up for it, get it, and then cancel it 5 days or 3 days afterwards, and you're good. But it's kind of a cool tool where you can just get all your stuff really fast. But thank you so much.
Daniel,
this was fun.
Wait, if we have a question, Daniel, do you have a question? You can unmute and ask.
Yes, thank you. Scott, thank you very much for the information.
Yes,
Super
sir.
helpful. Where do you see the role of the CMO comes within all this AI hype? Like, do you think that more creative power, understanding where to go to the business, how to add more value, how do you see it?
Yeah, I see it changing. I see it collapsing. So in my world, I've seen marketing teams shrink and or marketing teams spawn when they didn't have them before. I have a free workshop I do every month, and then I have my online course and my coaching program. What's happened just in the last 4 months, I've got virtual assistants now becoming, I'll call them CMOs for companies in the 250 to $1 million range that could have never afforded them before. They're in my coaching programs, and all of a sudden the face of my coaching programs has changed. No longer as the owners, they're too busy. They're doing all this other stuff. So what they're doing is they're hiring a virtual assistant for like $1,000 or $1,500, maybe $2,000. And then they're putting them in my course. They're putting them in coaching. And now it went from marketing manager, copywriter, designer, developer, all these are blog writer, SEO. You now have a marketing manager, virtual assistant, AI, and a series of AI tools that are being implemented across. So I've seen them collapse and get a lot smaller. And then I've seen other smaller businesses now have a marketing team because they can afford one, but through virtual assistants and AI and then training. That's been what I've noticed. Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. Does anybody else
course.
have any questions? Okay, I'm
silent.
yeah. I'm sure that more questions will come up after this. Scott is in the WhatsApp group and happy to answer questions there. And then everybody else gets the benefit of also hearing the answers. How else would you like people to get in touch with you after this, Scott, if they do have more questions for you?
Yeah, you bet. Here, I'll give you my personal email. .com and my cell number. How's that? Oh, sorry, I was sending it to one person there. There we go. That's probably the best way to get a hold of me on WhatsApp and or email. And of course, I have my personal website, scottempringham.com. That tells a little bit about. I've got a handful of websites for the training course, the AI training website, but those are some core resources to learn about all the stuff that I'm up to. And I think my workshop is on scottempringham.com. There's links to my course and everything else, I think, on that scottempringham.com site.
Okay, thank you so much for this.
My pleasure.
We will be having another Zoom shortly that was based on a conversation that got some legs in the WhatsApp group. So sit tight and we'll send out a notice when we have the next one. And Scott's a very active participant in the WhatsApp group. So if you do have questions there, I'm sure he'll jump in and help. And
Happy to.
I know
Happy to.
I appreciate it when you ask publicly and we get to see the answers publicly, because then everybody gets to learn from it and we get to hear what people are thinking about. So
Yeah.
thank you. Thanks for being here. And thanks for everybody for showing up.
My pleasure.
Thanks for
My
setting
pleasure.
it up, Nicole. And thanks, Scott. It was awesome. And thanks for being at a Sydney friendly time. Appreciate that.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure. What time is it over there?
Morning, I don't know, 10 o'clock in the morning.
I love it.
Fabulous. Thank you. Much better than 2 a.m. for me.
Yeah, I would
Yes.
imagine. I would imagine. Well, it was easy for me,
Thank you.
4 p.m. Thank you so much, everyone. All right,
Thank you.
appreciate it. All right, take care. Bye.
Bye.